It's Brian Preston, the Money Guy.
All right, here's the next question. This is from Aaron. Aaron had a two-part question. I lost the first part of it, so I'm going to kind of make up the beginnings of it, and I'm going to give you the actual question.
Oh.
He said, I can't fully max both yet. I'll tell you what he's talking about. He says, I'm 42, and most of my 401k is pre-tax. Should I max my Roth or HSA first, or split the amount I'm contributing evenly? So this is the age-old question. I can't do both. I've got to decide between Roth and HSA. That's his question. How do I decide, and which one is better? I think we've been asking this question for millennia now.
Well, but they're kind of different components here. Is, you know, and look, I'm going to bring it out. Y'all know I talk about the financial order of operations, moneyguy.com/resources. You too can download this. And it's very easy to see when you get to step 5 of the financial order of operations, it's Roth and HSA. These are your two tax-free growth components. If you think about a Roth IRA, where originally you can only put $6,000 in a Roth IRA.
Yep.
HSAs depend upon if you have a family or not, but they're right around $7,100, $7,200 a year contribution on that. And then I think where Aaron is going is that you do have your 401ks, your 403bs that also add Roth components. But realize when we're getting beyond the IRAs, the limits to $6,000, the $7,100 to $7,200 that those have, that's more of the max out the retirement account of step 6. So I would look. I love, and we probably should when we did the deliverable. HSAs are pretty daggum powerful.
I think that's his question.
Because they're triple tax advantage.
He can't do Roth and HSA. He's trying to figure out which one should he do. Where should he go with that?
So I think you have to do the HSA first because it is a huge tax benefit for you. Plus, it gives you the opportunity to have some tax-free growth if you use it for medical purposes in the future. And then definitely start loading up the Roth IRA. When you get past the $6,000 on the Roth IRA, then you can step into step 6 of the financial order of operations and try to see if you can get that all the way up to 19.5. As long as it fits into then, because you do when you get to step 6, and Bo, I'm going to leave the meat on the bone for you to fill this in. You got to pay attention to, should you do after tax, meaning or tax-free growth like Roth, or should you be doing pre-tax for the tax deductions that you currently get?
Yeah, I think as a brief reminder, right? So Roth IRAs are fantastic. You can put money in. You don't get a current year tax deduction, but you invest those dollars, and if you pull them out later in life, after age 59 and a half, it can be tax-free forever. So all that growth is completely tax-free. HSAs work a little bit different. You put money in, you do get a current year tax deduction. One thing that most folks don't realize is you can actually invest the dollars inside of an HSA. I can't tell you how many folks that I talk to, and they say, hey, I've got $30,000, $40,000 in my HSA. I'm like, awesome. How's it doing? Is it growing? And they're like, well, no, it's just sitting in cash.
That's because, what is it, 94% of people use it as just a cash clearing
slush
account.
fund. That's
They
exactly
don't
right.
actually know that you can invest it.
So you can actually invest those dollars. One of the beautiful things is later on in life, if you so choose, you can either pay for future medical expenses or you can reimburse yourself for prior medical expenses, and all of those distributions will be tax-free, and you don't have to be age 59 and a half to do that. So HSAs do have a little bit of additional flexibility that the Roth IRA doesn't. Now, here's the big benefit of the Roth over the HSA. Roth dollars can be used for anything, assuming you're old enough to pull them out tax-free, penalty-free. HSAs have to be used for qualified medical expenses. But I think for most of us, we're going to have qualified medical expenses either now, presently, as we're working through life, or later on in life. I have to agree with you, Brian. I think kind of the HSA, I think it tips the scale for me.
Yeah. And now, what about the income? Because Aaron mentioned he's 42. He's currently doing some pre-tax, so he might be in a higher tax bracket situation.
Well, I think he was just saying that most of his 401k is pre-tax.
Is that because it's employer contributions?
I guess, yeah, or maybe or if he's still doing a Roth IRA, he's below the income limit. So he's probably just saying, I'm trying to build up my tax-free bucket. Which one of the tax-free buckets is the best one to build between Roth and HSA?
And I don't mean to add a different layer here, but I did have somebody in the comments say, why would anybody ever have tax-deferred money when Roth is so powerful? Realize you're always going to have some tax-deferred if your employer does any type of contribution, because employer contributions are always tax-deferred. So that's probably, so if you're doing after tax, and then you're, with your brokerage accounts, you're doing tax-free with your Roth, you'll more than likely still have tax-deferred because your employer is putting money in as well.
Love it.